Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 5 in this best of 7 series. Currently MMA with a 3-1 lead in this best of 7 series. Will MMA be able to finish it off, or will IMLosira be able to force a game 6? It all comes down to Metalopolis right now. IMLosira spawning as the blue Zerg player at the 12 o'clock position. MMA spawning as the red Terran player here at the 3 o'clock position. Now, in game 4, we saw an amazing number of drops. Those Marines almost covering everywhere at once. 3-2 upgraded Marines with a medevac. Absolutely deadly, as we are now seeing a supply depot being built on the front door here. Now, if I know IMLosira, as I have cast this matchup for the 5th time now. Oh, he's actually going for an extractor first. And no, he's not going for an extractor first, just using that 11/10 trick. I was going to say that drone was overly excited, carrying those minerals to the grave with him, or to the extractor with him, but instead decided not to and discontinued a mine back and forth. That's interesting. If a drone's holding minerals and he's going to go build a building, do you think the building should be 5 less? Alright, enough silliness coming in from me. I know it seems a little bit out of place. MMA now getting a barracks over here, and he is going for that refinery as well. The IMLosira's Overlord was spotted, so now just making its way over. Both players know exactly where each other is as this refinery will get done. It looks like it's going to be a reactor Hellion play. And if IMLosira actually decided to go for spawning pool first, he may have actually been able to get a lot more damage in. And the reason I say that is because this front door seal is not going to be completed for quite some time. Instead, going for a hatchery first, most likely extractor next, and then spawning pool. It's going to be expansion speedlings, as we are now going into a tech lab. Alright, so it is a tech lab. I thought it was going to be a reactor with Hellions, but no, MMA now changing it up instead. And we may actually have Reapers. Reapers would be very strong, especially fighting against these Zerglings on creep. The fact that Lucira is spawning at the 12 o'clock location is perhaps going to hurt him, as MMA should be able to make his way out with those Reapers and get a lot of damage rather quickly. The SCV now still wandering around over here. If he had just decided to build a bunker, yeah, and now he is going to, in fact, build a bunker. And oh, by the positioning, the drone cannot actually get damage onto it. So that's actually kind of cute. MMA now being forced to take a little bit of damage onto the SCV. SCV, Stevie, come on, move. You do not want to be in the same position. And oh, holding right there. And now he's just holding position right there. I believe he's actually going to try to mine some minerals and then escape out of there. And now continuing to build. It looks like the SCV is going to take some damage and now try to make his way out. Drones are already over, as well as the Reaper now making its way in. If the SCV had not actually engaged, that would have been a little bit better, as one drone now already down. 2 drones may get taken down. Zerglings need to come out in a hurry, as the drones are trying to battle it out against that Reaper. There you go. There are a couple more Zerglings now coming into that engagement. And 2 Zerglings gonna get cleaned up there. Down they go. More Zerglings need to come in, and this is just an absolute nightmare for Lucira, as Lucira already losing a lot of workers at this stage in the game. 5 workers destroyed. This Reaper at 8 kills already, just looking like an absolute corporal. Yeah. Anyways, absolute just uber Gosu guy there, as those Reapers now trying to back off. The Reapers have a slightly longer range than a Queen. And they do have a decent stop and shoot, so they are able to shoot and scoot fairly well. As we are now going to get a drone growing up to be a hatchery. That drone is not going to be able to stay there for quite some time, as we are now going to see the Queen now trying to re-engage onto these Reapers. Now, one of the things that people ask me are, why don't Reapers try to go after larva? It does work with Hellions to try to slow down. The reason why is that the Reaper doesn't deal, or it does a 2-shot damage, and oh, in comes the Queen. Queen able to take down one of those units already. Drones now coming in from the far side, and may actually get picked off once more. The Queen looking to finish off this one Reaper there. The Reaper now just trying to run away. It looks like that Reaper will be able to escape, as there is now an extractor over here that has been completed. Command center is still being built. More Marines being added. It looks like a factory going to be added as well, and it's going to turn into standard Marine tank in just a moment. One Reaper sitting here on the high ground should be able to intercept two Zerglings if they try to come up that ramp if there is not that metabolic boost. Only one if there is metabolic boost on them, as a Reaper is able to two-shot any of those units there. So that early Reaper harassment has translated into Lucira being a little bit behind on drones, significantly when you consider the amount of mules that are currently in play as well. We can now have an orbital command now landing at the natural expansion. MMA with a sizable or a slight economic lead, now continuing to just try to train up as many units as possible. The factory may lift off and try to swap with the tech lab. No, most likely just going to add one, as we are getting that stim pack research now, and now going into a starport. Drop play most likely going to be coming in just a moment as well. Also, Marines now making it out in a single file line, getting a lot of damage, and Reaper just brilliantly jumped up and down, getting in another 1 or 2 shots onto those fleeing Zerglings. And those Zerglings definitely need to morph into Banelings whenever possible. Are they going to morph into Banelings? They should, as that medevac play will be coming in just a moment. So MMA sitting at 54 over 54, getting SCVs, siege tanks, Marines. Needs to get some additional supply depots. He will be supply depot for a little while longer, and that is definitely going to hurt him in the long run. Zerglings now trying to make a run around, trying to figure out what's going to happen, and the Banelings are now currently in the hatching, ready to go. SCV simply just walking to his death, sees a sea of Zerglings and doesn't decide to turn around, just following orders. Zerglings now backing off here. You can see the Banelings, 8 Banelings, perhaps going to try to do a suicide run. The Zerglings need to try to absorb some of that damage first, now trying to run by there, and now in it comes the Banelings, now finding their targets, perhaps going to get some damage onto those Marines as both sides are backing off. There you go, a lot of the Marines taking some damage there, but very nice Marine splits all around, and Lucira now has Zerglings running through the natural expansion, and MMA is on the defense of the siege. The orbital command definitely needs to lift off. The bunkers need to be salvaged. The supply depots need to get finished off, as supply depots may get finished off as well, as more and more Zerglings are coming in for pressure. Medevacs need to be trained as the Zerglings and SCVs. The SCVs getting caught on the wrong side of the wall there. Siege tanks now finally being able to blast apart. Another supply depot getting taken down, and Lucira with a very impressive counterattack, putting forth the damage on MMA. I didn't think it would be that successful, and now the Zerglings just wandering around once more, getting a little bit more splash damage onto a Marine there. Worker kills 12-7 now, but a drop now coming in. Only a 6 Marine drop coming in, and this Marine drop may not be that effective, but there is only 1 Queen there. Army-wise, the rest of the Zerglings are down over here, and they are completely out of position as the Marines are now coming in. So we have 5 Marines trying to do the job of 8, and it looks like those Marines are just going to clean up Overlords, supply locking Lucira. The Marines are now making their way over as well, going after drones. Drones are simply falling to the wayside. Zerglings are now coming in. Marines just going to hop inside that medevac and now make a mad rad dash once more. So MMA am able to deal a little bit of damage, able to fight back a little bit there, as we are now getting into 3 Queens and more creep tumors as well. We are getting those siege tanks, 1 siege tank on the high ground, able to protect the majority of that front door. Another siege tank here. The Zergling never saw what was coming, as that siege tank able to blast it apart so easily. Another drop now trying to come in, but MMA being very smart, deciding not to do so. And yeah, a Viking now being added. So MMA going to be able to use those Vikings and clean up and perhaps further supply lock Lucira sitting at 74 of 100. Meanwhile, MMA is the one currently supply locked, and he has been supply locked for quite some time. But with the Vikings now going after these Overlords, the Queens are going to have to try to fend off and try to push back with the rest, or push back these Vikings. The Viking, 1 Overlord now shot down. Another Overlord could get shot down in just a second, as well as the Queen now coming over to try to offer a little bit of protection. This Overlord is going to get taken down rather easily, as another drop coming over here. So MMA looking to clean up a hatchery, and this hatchery will get taken down. In come the Zerglings. Zerglings are just going to simply just try to surround and be out of position once more. As you can see, another drop coming in here as well. Are we going to have a lift? No, we are not going to have those units lifted up. A couple Marines being left behind as the medevac unable to pick them up. Marines now coming over to try to get more damage onto another Overlord. It doesn't look like the Overlord, will get taken down. 2 Zerglings over here, as the Viking now on the hunt for more and more Overlords. You can see the Overlords are now starting to pull off. Zerglings trying to finish off this medevac there, just playing a game of hopscotch back and forth. Now once again just picking up the units, dropping them onto the low ground, and just forcing Lucira to pay a lot of attention to these units here, and that is just absolutely annoying. MMA now activating both Zelnaga watchtowers. He does see that there is an overlord, or there is an overlord here preventing the third expansion, so it is 2 base play versus 3. Now, one of the things I've seen in the past where Terran players do is Terran players, when the Zerg player is not watching, will actually pick up a medevac or drop a marine onto banelings one at a time, hoping to exchange 1 for 2. And that is actually a very, very cost-effective manner. But Lucira now coming in with more Zerglings. There was a double medevac drop, but simply too many units, and the medevacs are being forced to pull back. Once again, another drop happening over here, and just constantly being forced to split his attention in multiple locations all the time. Meanwhile, production-wise, siege tanks and marines are still being added to this group, and now MMA just cranking it up into even more and higher reactor count. A queen now trying to make its way out. It will get taken down rather easily by stimmed marines. And now, oh, in comes a nice pickup there, as the Zerglings are now going to swarm in and take down the rest of those units. Siege tank now going to get taken down. No, these siege tanks need to siege up in order to try to offer some protection. But there is going to be another high ground drop with 3 marines, 1 marine on vacation for some reason. Another overlord taken down. Zerglings being forced to come back over. No, it's going to be banelings instead. And there's the pickup. Nicely done. And now continuing to just move around. Is he going to continue to drop those marines one at a time and forcing those units to come around once more? We are seeing that the siege tanks are in position. The SCVs are not even on auto repair. Don't know why they're part of the army. As banelings once again rolling their way through, finishing off the rest of the marines. Should be able to finish those siege tanks. As another drop. No, only 1 marine left in this group here. The medevac will finally get taken down, and the queen will be able to finish off that marine. Command center now being lifted off and will be landing, or orbital command now landing at the gold mineral patch. 1 lone Viking quickly taken down by a sea of Mutalis, as we have a much larger army by Lucira. He has Mutalis. He does have a food advantage, and now the medevac was simply going to get sniped down there. It looks like another medevac may get sniped down as well, as an SCV may get taken down. Marines now trying to make their way over, unable to do so as the Mutalists do move faster even than stimmed marines. Missile turrets are being placed down here to make sure that the Mutalists do not get any free shots onto any SCVs. We are now seeing 3 base play versus 3. Production-wise, more banelings are being hatched, as another hatchery being placed down as well. Lucira has to be very, very careful if he wants to try to force a Game 6. He needs to be able to intercept those medevacs like that, but no. He actually was doing a pretty bad job there. Finally, losing one of those medevacs and splitting off that army. I think that was the first time a medevac was actually sniped down, and the Mutalists are going to be able to find a pretty defenseless engineering bay over here. And now, even if the Marines try to make their way over, SCVs coming over to repair, and that is going to be just adding insult to injury, allowing for additional weapons training on those Marines once more. Zerglings now swarming around, finishing off a couple of those Marines in transition. 4 Marines, 5 Marines, and now some siege tanks offering some guidance and protection as well. In comes another swarm. Banelings now will not be able to find that sea of Marines. No Mutalists nearby, or is that a Mutalist? As a flock of Mutalists now coming in. Looks like it should be able to take down this medevac with relative ease. No, does not continue moving and does not see MMA. MMA is already lining up this drop once more to drop on the backside here, as another drop happening over here. MMA is a caster's nightmare, trying to find a red dot in a sea on the map. You can see the missile turrets were able to get some damage onto those Mutalists once more, taking down that Zelnaga watchtower, and it's going to be a matter of time. Those Marines deciding not to engage just quite yet, just hiding in the darkness, as it is waiting for this medevac perhaps to do a 2-timed a 2 drop at the same time, putting pressure at the same location. Mutalists now trying to clean up multiple Marines, and it looks like he is able to do so, but in come some more medevacs, and those medevacs could easily get shot down. Siege tanks in the middle of the field, and now the Mutalists now come, or sorry, the Marines and Mutalists battling now in the center. Marines now coming in over here, going to be able to snipe down a queen. Another drop over here as well. So MMA dropping the main base and the third base all at the same time. Marines should perhaps be actually going after those drones, as this drop is now going to get cleaned up. There is nothing left, and a sea of banelings now finding their target here. gonna finish it off and now try to roll up that ramp. Supply depots are gonna get taken down. It looks like some barracks may get taken down as well. Production buildings as the Marines are continuing to push their way through. Marines now charging up once more, and the Queen's able to finish off some of those medevacs, but the siege tanks now on the low ground should be able to destroy all of these Queens, as the Queens are now off of creep. So many siege tanks now coming in. Baneling's now trying to find those Marines, but unable to do so, as both sides try to do a little bit of a base trade. And now with 20 Marines, there's the GG. So Lucira, who was consistently ahead with a larger army, but just unable to respond well enough to MMA's massive Marine army and medevac drops. And that was just completely beautiful play by MMA. MMA, your MLG Columbus 2011 champion. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I do plan on going to MLG Anaheim. Hope to see you guys there if you do go. The way things have been escalating from Dallas to Columbus to Anaheim, I believe Anaheim, we haven't seen nothing yet. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And once again, thank you to MLG. Go ahead and check out their website. Thank you to MLG for making these replays public. It does make casting them a lot easier and much more enjoyable.